What's up, No Rev?
What's going on, CJC?
It's snowing, it's cold, and shitty outside.
That's Mother Nature needs to quit being so fucking bipolar.
That's true.
Anyways.
So we are back. We're the Microphone Joes. And this week, we're going to be talking about the worst movie to video game adaptations and the worst video game to movie adaptations. This one, I have not played or watched quite a few of these, so you're going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting this week, No Rev.
That's fine by me.
Your back's going to hurt by the time we're done.
That's fine by me. Should be quite the interesting one, so we'll see how this goes.
Yep. Well, before we jump into the main topic, let's start off with the news! Alright, No Rev, go ahead and take our first topic here.
So, our first topic is actually about Star Wars.
Okay.
They're actually about to release a new comic series about Lando Calrissian. Specifically, the Danny Glover Lando Calrissian that's going to be in the upcoming Solo movie.
Sounds interesting.
Yes, I believe so as well.
The art looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does, actually. It looks really good, and it looks very much like Danny Glover Lando Calrissian. But it's supposed to be a 5-issue miniseries, and it's supposed to be about... gives the backstory of Lando, and also it's like an adventure before, like right before the events of the movie. So it should be pretty interesting.
Him and the droid L3, which we see in the trailer, that's the one that is in the co-pilot seat with him.
But yeah, I mean, the art looks great, and you know, I've been a pretty big fan of the comic series so far. They haven't really come out. Well, they've had a couple of stinkers.
More along the lines of stinkers in the series. Not really an entire series that's been terrible, but a few issues here and there. Although the Leia one
was not great.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to it. It sounds like it'd be neat. I mean, they're really good. Disney's been really good about tying into all the new movies with other media.
Yeah, so and obviously we see on the front cover of this very first issue is the new Millennium.
Old Millennium Falcon.
The new old Millennium Falcon. Yeah, it's all shiny and pristine. And
yeah, I
kind of hope that we get to see if he's the original owner or.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I never noticed before this picture that you showed me yesterday that there is a dish on the old new Falcon.
Yeah.
Because I thought from the shots we saw in the trailer, I didn't think there was a dish at all, but it's almost like flush to the hull.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's pretty cool.
Obviously, Lando is a little more clean than Han Solo.
Yeah.
He takes a little more pride in his hallways.
Like, yeah, when we see the Millennium Falcon in the trailer, it almost should be a Tide Pod commercial.
Although, I mean, there was a Wookiee living in it for years. I can't imagine that he's the cleanest thing.
No. Probably sheds a lot.
And every time he comes in from outside and it's raining, he's probably got to do the whole dog shake it off kind of thing.
Smells like wet dog. But yeah, anyways, that's it for...
Alright, I'll take the next one. So, Black Panther, we did review it last week. We enjoyed it, and obviously a lot of other people enjoyed it because they made $387 million at the global box office their opening weekend.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of money. In fact, it is the highest February opening ever, beating here in America. So there's different numbers. The 387 million is for the entire world.
Right.
In America, which is called the domestic box office, they made 192 million, which is a higher number than Deadpool, who also opened in February 2 years ago. They made 132.4. At the international box office, which is the other half of the total, it made $169 million. So altogether, that's the 387. But it's making a lot of money, and that was only over its opening weekend. We don't have the numbers. Usually we get these numbers at the end of the next weekend, so we'll know how it did. There's always a slight drop-off. If a movie doesn't drop off, it's really being well-received.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it does. But
and I also see here, too, in the domestic box office, the U.S. one, it is the 5th highest opening weekend of all time.
Oh, yeah, I missed that, yep. And the other thing that's good for this movie is it still has to open in Japan and China. Although a lot of times movies like this don't really do well in China.
Yeah, they're a bunch of racist.
They're kind of racist against black people. So Japan, it probably do well in Japan. It did really well in South Korea.
Yeah.
And it's probably because of the entire sequence that takes place in South Korea.
Yeah.
Usually you throw a sequence in a foreign country and it does really well. Yeah, Black Panther is king at the box office.
Aha, I see what you did there. That was pretty clever.
Go ahead, No Rev, you got the next one?
Okay, Transformers movies, or the Transformers movie series is due to be completely rebooted. let me begin by saying it's about fucking time.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Because, yes, okay, I understand these movies have been making money, but they've all been trash.
They're not good.
I think the only one that was passable was the very first one, and even still, that was
It was more of a novelty because we'd never seen Transformers in a live-action movie.
Yeah, and, going back and watch it now, I guarantee it's not going to hold up. Because we've just been bombarded with these Transformers
I think we get one
movies.
every year.
Yeah, we do. But anyways, going back to my topic here, the last one, what was it, The Last Night?
Yeah, in the current canon.
Yeah, has been so poorly received that basically they're going in and rebooting all of it.
So Bumblebee's going to come out.
Yeah, they're still going to do Bumblebee.
That's kind of a prequel to the first Transformers.
Right, but after that point, all of them are going to be completely rebooted. According to this article, I can't find it right now, but they were going to do different directors for each different movie.
That's a good idea.
Almost like what Marvel does
for the MCU. That's a good idea.
Keeps it fresh, keeps it original, gives other people ideas because Michael Bay, man.
The living explosion.
Yeah.
The living perverted explosion.
Exactly. Like, if an explosion could have a creeper van, it would probably be Michael Bay.
It would.
Michael Bay.
And it would probably look like the one that Ninja Turtles drove in their movie.
Yeah, probably will, because that was Michael Bay too. But yeah, it's a really good bit of news. Seems how in October 2015 they scheduled 4 more to come out, not including the spin-off series.
Did they? And
yeah,
they canceled all of those.
And they canceled all of them, besides for the Bumblebee movie coming up.
Good.
But it's about damn time. Get Michael Bay the fuck out of there. Oh, also, according to this, Hasbro is going to have more creative control over the actual movies and property and what actually gets released.
That's probably a good idea.
Good news there. And I believe that should be just about it.
For that one?
Yeah, for that one.
So I'm up again. Alright, so the next one is about the game Rainbow Six Siege. So Rainbow Six Siege came out about 3 years ago. We were really interested in it when it was coming out. We never got around to playing it. And I heard a lot of bad things about it when it first came out. Well, from what I understand, they put a lot of work into it. They've grown the game, the community. It's got a lot of players right now. It's significantly better than it used to be. So, saying all of that, it sounds like it's about time to hit that sequel.
Yeah.
Right? So you make your cash in. Ubisoft and the creators of So Ubisoft's the publisher. Rainbow Six Siege, I don't know who actually created the game.
Tom Clancy, something.
We'll say just Ubisoft as a generalization. They have decided to forego a sequel and make this into a 10-year game.
Cool.
So they're just going to continue to update it, add new, what they call operators. That's basically their class system. New maps, probably new game modes, things like that. But they're not going to come out with a sequel. They're going to continue to improve this current game.
Good.
It's really cool. It sounds really neat. I mean, I'm excited about it. I want to play it eventually. We'll get around to it because it does look really good. But it does worry me because companies have to make money off this kind of stuff. They can't just keep building new assets for a game.
Right.
So how are they going to monetize it?
I really hope that they don't go the way that everybody else is.
We never played it, so I don't even know if there's loot boxes in it right now. I don't think there is. I think the operators are the monetization right now. From what I understand, I think you can either unlock them, but it's a huge grind, or you can buy them. So they are microtransaction. But at least for me,
that's not obvious.
Yeah, because I don't think it changes the gameplay that much. I think they're kind of each individually suited, and then you unlock more stuff about them. I think you can buy the base operator.
Right.
Which is still... It's not great that you can buy something in a game, but it's better than a random number-generated loot box. So
exactly.
We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. It's really cool. This is what Destiny was supposed to be.
Yeah.
A 10-year game that just kept getting built and built and built and built instead of popping out a sequel every couple of years. So maybe, if it works really well, and they do figure out a way to monetize it, it's not terrible to us, the consumers. Maybe other companies will do this. Probably not, but it would be neat to see other companies create these games like this. I mean, obviously a game that's really story-driven can't do this, but pretty much a multiplayer shooter game, because I think, as far as I know, it's only a shooter, a multiplayer game.
And honestly, I feel like Call of Duty should do this as well. But we're not going to get into that. That's a subject
we just get
for
a new
time.
skin every year.
Yeah.
So that does it for our legit news, and now we are going to kick it over to No Rev for this week in our Wacky World. Hit it, No Rev.
And for our first topic in This Week in Our Wacky World, it's actually kind of funny because we were just talking about Lando and the Millennium Falcon and all that, but I found this article about something called the Baltic Sea anomaly. And basically, this thing, I kid you not, looks exactly like the Millennium Falcon.
At the bottom of the Baltic Sea.
At the bottom of the Baltic Sea. Now, they're saying that they found this thing 210 feet below 300 feet below the surface of the Baltic Sea. It looks extremely similar to the Millennium Falcon. It even has like a track that looks like it crash landed into the sea. And I'm not seeing how old they think it is.
They're not really sure what it is yet.
Yeah, so basically it's a big old debate if it's either an actual, like, UFO that crash landed there millennia ago, or if it's like a underwater anomaly or something.
Or they even say it could be like a sunken city.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's the fucking Millennium Falcon. Han Solo crashed.
I mean, Star Wars did take place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but he kind of died. Maybe Rey crashed it?
Maybe.
We don't know. We don't know how that trilogy is going to end, but it is really interesting looking. I mean, from the side, it's not as Millennium Falcon-ish, but that top view.
Yeah, it's pretty much identical. Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy. But, so maybe Star Wars could exist.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So go ahead to the next one.
All right. This last one is actually pretty fun, too. So, they actually found a 9,000-year-old Stonehenge underneath Lake Michigan. Yeah, at the bottom of Lake Michigan is a 9,000-year-old Stonehenge. Scientists are still wondering what exactly this is for, whether it was like a ritualistic site for back in those days, or if it was, some kind of, who knows. But the big thing that really intrigues people is there's a carving of a mastodon on this Stonehenge. So it's kind of getting people to wonder if maybe it was dated back even further than they originally thought to the first Stone Age.
The Ice Age?
The first Ice Age.
Yeah.
And just to think that something is sitting at the bottom of Lake Michigan with such historical significance. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, I mean, they say in the article that area was probably just covered in ice during the Ice Age, so it could have been on top of the ice, and then as the planet warmed back up, it just sunk down into the water,
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and
yeah.
It's crazy to think about, because if you look at the picture here, it's like pretty much in a perfect line underneath the actual lake, so...
Is that what that is, that picture? I didn't really understand what I was looking at there.
Yeah. This picture right here is the little circles is pretty much locating each different Stonehenge on it, and it's pretty much perfectly lined up, and it's pretty crazy. But they discovered this back in 2007, so it's not really new news, but it's interesting.
So why are we just now hearing about it?
Cover-ups, man. That's my guess.
Oh, you think the government's covering it up?
Could be.
That's it for that.
That is it for This Week in Our Wacky World.
All right, then I think it's time for us to jump into our first part of our main topic this week, which is the worst video games to movies of all time. Now, I don't think we have these in any particular order, right? We just kind of...
Well, no, but I do kind of want to do it backwards a little bit.
Okay, well...
We'll start with 10.
Most of these you are going to have to cover. A couple of them I've seen, but not a lot of them. So we'll go ahead with Warcraft. This is a new one. This
came out, I think, either a year ago or 2 years ago.
It was early 2017.
Yeah.
2016.
2016.
Because the Assassin's Creed came out in 2016. It came out the same year, a couple months apart. Yeah.
But anyways, this movie was so poorly received because they did the worst thing that basically all movie people try to do, is they try to squeeze an entire universe of content and years and years and years of this, gameplay and lore into 2 hours worth of movie. Because World of Warcraft has been around for almost 20 years.
And it's not a linear game. There's the lore and stuff, but it's more of a make your own destiny kind of thing. So
exactly.
That's an undertaking right there.
Yeah, so they tried to squeeze way too much into 2 hours worth of movie. And not only that, but just the action was bad, the acting was bad. this was not a great movie by any means of the word. Like,
I've seen images of CGI, and
the CGI looks okay at some parts.
It's alright.
But
those orcs, is that what they're called?
Orcs,
they are ugly.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie was not well received, and I'm glad that they're not going to do any more based on this. It was just trying too hard to be Lord of the Rings, pretty much.
Well, Lord of the Rings had to be basically a 9-hour movie split into 3 parts to make it even work. So
yeah,
I mean that was out of a book. I can't imagine a game that's been around this long with so much lore and not just lore created by them, but with that kind of community, you come up with new lore all the time.
Exactly.
You were bit off way more than you could chew.
Yeah, they
should have
never
done a TV series, if anything.
Yeah, they never should have tried to make this into a movie.
A TV series might have worked because you would have had multiple seasons and multiple episodes to work that out.
Almost like a Game of Thrones thing.
Yeah, there you go. That's a perfect analogy. So, all right, and you're going to have to talk about number 9 as well. I've never seen this, Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia.
I've heard that this is... So I've heard a few people say, like I said, never watched it. This is like the only decent...
It's decent.
Video game.
It's not bad, we'll say that. But this was another one of those movies that was criticized for whitewashing.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the original game... Obviously, the Prince of Persia. I forget what his actual name is, but...
Was this played by Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, played by Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie. But in the actual game, he was, like, actually Persian. Mm-hmm. Since when is Jake Gyllenhaal Persian or anything like that? Now, for me, I don't honestly give a shit about whitewashing.
No, either.
You know, we've actually dwelled on this a little bit in a couple of previous episodes, especially in our ranting and rolling that CJ did a while back. And... I mean, the movie was okay. There was some things that made no fucking sense, like...
Yeah, the Mandarin's in it.
Yeah, like the Dagger of Time has a fucking button.
For what?
Exactly! Why? The Prince of Persia in the original game could just do it. It was part of his ability. Why give the dagger a button?
Is it Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So this movie was really poorly received. I mean... Honestly, it's not bad. We've gotten a lot worse since then, but it was obviously, like I said, a victim of whitewashing. It was really poorly acted at some parts, which was surprising because they had a lot of good actual actors and actresses in this movie. And they just missed the mark on so many different things. And it was a sore on the eyes, pretty much.
All right, so now we'll move to number 8, Assassin's Creed. This came out same year as Warcraft. I thought this was going to be really good.
I did too.
The trailers made it look really good.
Yeah, this movie was really hugely hyped.
Yeah,
and I personally haven't actually seen the movie yet.
It had a really good. How does Michael Fassbender keep? He's a really good actor. Why does he keep taking these really dumb roles?
Yeah, like Prometheus and all that. I don't get it.
So, I mean, I've not watched the entire thing. I kind of checked out about halfway through.
Okay.
Which
is saying something.
From what I remember, most of it takes place in not modern day. There's very little assassinating.
What?
I don't want to get too deep.
That's the point of Assassin's Creed.
I don't want to get too deep into it because you've never seen it. I've never watched the entire thing. It just wasn't that good.
And I'm a big old fan of the Assassin's Creed games, but...
See, I never really... I'm not going to get into why. I don't hate them. I just didn't really enjoy them that much, so...
Yeah.
Okay, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and this is the old one, not the one that's about to come out.
Right, this is the one with Angelina Jolie.
So basically a reason to go see Angelina Jolie's tits.
Yeah, actually, that was pretty much it.
Pretty much the whole selling point of this movie.
Yeah, and it's actually a fun fact, too. They padded her boobs for this movie so bad.
They did?
Yeah, they padded her boobs up like 2 more sizes just because of this movie.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at the poster right now. They do not look
real.
Yeah, they don't look real.
I mean, I get that the original, game character had some tickle bitties and whatnot, but why? Why make the conscious effort to do something like that? Anyways, we're getting off topic. This movie was not great either. Okay? Because just some of the shit that they did, and honestly, Lara Croft's, the hell is her...
Angelina Jolie?
Angelina Jolie pretty much just phoned in this entire fucking movie. And they made a sequel still! How? How the hell did they make a sequel on a movie that basically did horseshit. I mean, I get that this was like one of the new, more modern, or this was like the first more modern movie to come out based on a video game. Everybody was excited for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. If you go to watch the original one and realize that it's garbage, why would you go to see the second one?
When you say the second one, you mean the one that's coming out soon?
No, there was an actual second one with Angelina Jolie.
I've never watched it. Like I said, a lot of these movies I have not seen.
See, there was Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and then I think it was Lara Croft Tomb Raider and the Circle of Life or something like that, or the Orb of Life. Yeah, it was bad. Really, really bad. That one was way worse than the first one, but the first one was just garbage. Pretty much the only reason why anybody went to go see it was because there was a gratuitous shower scene in the first 10 minutes.
So and then you walk in, you watch it, and you walk out.
Yeah. Literally, you walk in, sit there for 10 minutes, see the shower scene, walk right back out.
I think we should move on because you're getting pretty heated on this.
Yeah.
So the next one is Hitman. Okay,
Hitman. This movie really disappointed me because it had everything going for it. Now, you say that you didn't play any of the Hitman games.
No, I haven't watched this movie either.
Okay. Well, I actually really like these. They're more like stealth, and it gives you creativity on different kinds of kills and stuff like that, and it's a really fun game. Basically think of Splinter Cell, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, but sleeker and more stylish.
Yeah, I don't like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell.
But anyways, it was all set up perfectly for you right there. How can you mess this up so bad? And especially you get Timothy Olyphant, who I'm a big fan of as an actor. He played in Deadwood. He played in Justified. A couple other things too. And he's a great actor. How do you butcher this so bad? It had no plot. Everything about it was pretty much stupid. The action scenes were even stupid. How? How do you mess up the action scenes?
How does Hollywood screw up anything that they put their grubby hands on?
That's an even better question, but anyways, we're going to get into the next one.
The next one is Max Payne.
This one also kind of really disappointed me because this one had even more going for it than Hitman did. Okay, because the original Max Payne game series was phenomenal. It was gritty, it was dark, it was over-the-top violent. It was so just amazing. And it had a great story, and it had a great visual appeal to it, and it was dark and everything. And then when they finally decided to make a movie about it, I was all on board. Mark Wahlberg was going to play Max Payne. I'm all for it. I was looking forward to it. Max Payne, one of these other movies that just tried to condense too damn much into the 2-hour storyline. Not only that, but this movie should have been rated R. You know what this movie was rated?
PG-13?
PG-13. You cannot do that! If this game was mature, how are you going to make a purposely mature video game into PG-13? It doesn't work. You're missing the point. Anyways, huge disappointment. Mark Wahlberg phoned it in on this. They just tried way too much in way too little a time, and ended up being a huge disappointment. Next one.
Resident Evil Apocalypse. I've never watched any of the Resident Evil movies. I've never played a Resident Evil game.
Okay. Resident Evil, the video game.
Yeah, I know what it's about.
One of the best, most popular franchises ever to come out, pretty much. They're still making these fucking things.
They're remaking them.
Anyways. The first Resident Evil movie was actually pretty good.
I've heard that before, that the first one was actually not that bad.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Now, granted, they took some liberties on the story, like Mila Djokovic, whatever her character's name is, I forget, but she was never actually in the original Resident Evil games.
Well, you have to make a main character to follow.
But she wasn't even supposed to be the main character.
Oh, okay.
They just kind of threw her in, but then she ended up stealing the show so much that they decided to make these movies.
Doesn't she have vampire or something?
It's weird.
I literally, all of my knowledge on these movies comes from the trailers when they come out. That's all I know.
You're pretty much getting
caught up.
Yeah, you're caught up.
Okay,
but yeah, so Resident Evil Apocalypse was the first sequel in the long lines of garbage sequels to this Resident Evil movie franchise.
Okay, didn't they just come out like the 9th one a couple years ago or something like that?
And they keep pretty much every single one. They say, "Oh, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be the last one," and then they keep making more.
Yeah.
Why? These things have not been good since the very first one.
People are obviously paying to go see these. That's why.
But people, be smarter with your money.
That's true.
Don't go see garbage just because it has a name on it. Same thing with Transformers.
Let's move on to what I think is the worst out of all these. It is number 3. Like I said, we did not put these in order. We just wrote them down. I think this one is the worst.
It very well could be.
Mortal Kombat. Boring. Dumb. Nothing like the game.
No.
It's hot garbage all around.
Yeah, and how do you try to make Mortal Kombat campy?
How do you make a fighting game a movie? I don't know how. It just doesn't work. It's literally a game that drops 2 characters into an arena and they beat each other to death. You can't make a good movie out of that.
Yeah, and just the fact that in the games, basically the story was to get to the next fight. Exactly, I agree with you. How are you going to make a movie or 2 hour, however many movie based on that? And then they kept coming out with sequels.
Oh, I didn't know that. I only knew about the first one.
No, they came out with like 4 or 5 of these fucking things.
I did not know that. I only know anything about the first one.
All of them are hot garbage.
Yeah, this is like one of those movies that I'd probably, if I had to watch it again, I'd tear my eyeballs out.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
All right, number 2, and I'm going to admit this is one of those guilty pleasures of mine. I actually kind of like this movie. Doom.
Okay.
With The Rock and Carl Urban, right?
I believe that's his name. Yeah.
But anyways, Keith, I kind of like this movie. I realized that I feel like if you went into it when it came out, because I think this came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
If you went into it expecting it to be like the game, you would be disappointed.
Yeah.
But being that I didn't watch it then, and I didn't watch it for the first time until like 3 years ago, and I already knew the reputation of it and knew what I was getting into, I think that allowed me to enjoy it.
Yeah. But see, the main reason why I put this on the list, for one, like you said, it had really nothing to do with the actual game.
It's set on Mars and they fight demons. Literally, that's it.
The Rock was in it. I was really expecting more from The Rock.
They took a weird twist with it. I'll give it this. I thought Carl Urban would end up being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And The Rock became the bad guy by the end.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
No,
because The Rock is so charismatic and he's always the good guy.
Yeah, he's very likable.
In fact, that's the only movie I can think of right now off the top of my head where he is not the hero.
Well, he's going to be playing in Black Adam here down the line, but...
Okay.
Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. And my last bitch about this movie, they had, at the very, very end... scene.
The first person?
The first person. You should have been doing that for the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, you could have had...
You pretty much showed us within that last 10-minute scene...
That was the best part of the whole movie.
What pretty much we could have been doing otherwise, and we would have been having a lot more fun doing it.
Yeah. I feel like a Doom movie would be good as like a virtual reality experience.
Yeah, like
not a game, but you know what an experience is, right? Where you're basically like sitting in the eyes of the character.
Yeah,
I think you could take that one little slice and extend it out like 30 minutes and just put a VR headset on. That would be kind of enjoyable.
It would be.
You get a bunch of little jump scares and fight scenes and maybe solve a couple puzzles along the way. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Or they do this quite a bit with movies kind of like this. Like interactive rides and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool, I think. But yeah, anyways, I was hugely disappointed.
I think
with this
Doom
movie.
is one of the movies that one of the games that if they try it again, based on the newer Doom, I think you might be able to come up with something interesting because the newer
there's
Doom
actually
has
like
more lore
a storyline.
Yeah, I mean not a lot, but maybe more like I don't know.
Here's what they should do: try this again, but make the whole movie pretty much first person. It doesn't have to be you're looking down your gun the whole damn time, but put it like almost like a Cloverfield kind of thing.
Well, wait, what was that movie that just came out recently? Where the guy was all in first person.
Hardcore Henry.
Yeah.
Okay, that movie is pretty good. However, it's a motion sickness nightmare. I'm not even prone to motion sickness. And
well, Doom Guy's a big lumbering dude. He doesn't really have a lot of quick movement, so it might work a little better.
Yeah, which honestly that would work out very well.
Just don't ever let him talk.
Nope.
Just grunts and other noises.
Yep.
And have the other characters around him be what really drives the story.
Exactly.
He just fucks up demons.
Yep. And give us a lot more first-person shooting.
Yeah. Number 1. And we're not going to talk a lot about this because...
we did our shit show.
We're doing our shit show for this Wednesday on this, so shameless plug right there. If you want to get our full thoughts on it, you can come back. But Super Mario Brothers.
This one is kind of my guilty pleasure a little bit.
After watching it, I'm not going to lie, it was entertaining.
It was. Don't get me wrong. This movie was hot mess. But it was, like you said, at least entertaining.
It did. We had a lot of laughs watching it.
Yeah.
And a lot of... I don't know. It should be one of those movies that I hate.
It should be.
But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I know it's bad.
It's clearly not the Super Mario Brothers game by any means, and it has...
yeah.
But it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. It also, not only being the first movie on... the number 1 movie on our list, it does have the distinction of being the very first adaptation of a video game to a movie.
Yes.
So, good job getting that one as the top.
And way to set the trend.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we have finished that list, we're going to move on to the worst movies to games. So these are movies that came out and then became a game, and this one we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to go from 1 to 10.
Yes.
So the first one is Catwoman.
Oh, God.
And we just did a shit show on this last week. So if you want to check that out, yeah. I implore you to go see that, and I cannot imagine...
The game is no better.
It's
not any better.
I imagine this must be like a PS2 title.
Yeah. Yeah. It was no good. Like, how can you make the graphics in a video game worse than the CGI in a movie? Is that even possible?
With that movie, I'm pretty sure it was possible.
Not to mention, but, like, the gameplay controls were garbage. Like, it was so stiff. How do you make Catwoman stiff?
I guess that was the one thing I'll give her. She was very fluid in her CGI bounciness.
Yeah, but the game was stiff as shit. You couldn't do combos or anything. It tried way too hard. Well, obviously this is before Arkham, but it tried way too hard to do those mechanics. Mm-hmm. But it failed so miserably.
You want to know something funny about this game?
What's that?
EA.
Oh, EA, you done fucked up.
Everything they touch dies.
Yeah, but this game, no good. I don't even know why they would even attempt to make this game. The movie was trash. Why would you try to capitalize on it?
That was back in the day when every movie had a video game tie-in. Every superhero movie got a video game tie-in, and none of them... Did you ever play this game?
I played a demo.
So I wonder, because that was one of the funny things about that era when they made the tie-in games to all the superhero movies. They didn't let them know what the script was, really. Yeah. So it never quite matched the movie. I wonder if this game was like totally nothing to do with the actual movie. I
don't know, but I do not want to find out.
I don't want to find out either. So let's move on to number 2. It is the Fast and Furious Showdown.
Oh my god. Now, how they're still making Fast and the Furious movies, I have no idea. Why in the hell...
You could ask crazy redneck Uncle John about that. He's pretty enthralled by the Fast and Furious.
Well, he's kind of the lowest common denominator too, anyway, so... But...
We love you, Uncle John.
Yeah, keep being you, man, but... God, you gotta get better taste. Along with a lot of these other people that are the lowest common denominator, get better taste. So these movies are pretty much hot garbage. All it is just testosterone-filled driving.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that racing games are good, but why would you have to throw Fast and the Furious? Basically, that's all this is another copy and paste racing game with a Fast and the Furious title. That's essentially what it is. Just a normal, regular video game. You're better off playing Forza, because then you have customization of your cars and shit.
So there's nothing special about this?
No, not even.
So what was the point? Just to cash in?
Yeah. Huh. I think this came out around the same time of the first movie, I believe.
It says 2013 is the release date.
So yeah, I'm way off on that one. But yeah, even still, these movies were going downhill way before then. Why would you try to make a video game?
Cashing in.
And I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot on that.
A lot of this seems to be a repetitive thing for us. Why are you doing this? Why do you keep buying this? Why do you keep making this?
But they keep doing it! Anyways.
Alright, the next one is not only a terrible game, but it was also basically a flat-out lie. to everybody that was interested in it. It is Aliens Colonial Marines.
Now, I actually did not play this one.
So this game, yes. When it was coming out, the trailer they gave for it made this game look like it was basically Halo with aliens.
Which would have been a cool
the
idea.
Xenomorphs, I mean. There's nothing good about this game. The AI is terrible. The graphics are no good. The aliens are not menacing. You spend more of the games fighting other humans than aliens.
What?
So basically it picks up right after Aliens, the sequel movie.
Okay.
And you're on the moon, LV-426 I believe is the moon, where that movie takes place. And you're there to figure out what happened. Because obviously Ripley and the soldier and the little kid, Newt, they all went into cryosleep. They were the only survivors. We have no idea what happened. So you're a colonial marine, and you're there to figure it out, and you end up fighting the aliens, of course, and you end up fighting the Weyland-Yutani Corps security forces. And like I said, you fight them more. And there's also, I can't remember, it's been a long time. I played through it once. There's a twist at the end where one of the Marines from the movie, who clearly died, is still alive.
What?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the guy with the I can't remember his name. I'll try and find it, but it's terrible. Like I said, AI is terrible. Stuff will clip through walls and get stuck to walls. You have these Marines that are with you, and there's one hallway scene that's super famous for. There's very tight doors you got to work through.
Yeah,
and sometimes your companions will just stop in the doorway. And they're solid. You can't move through them, and you just cannot continue. They just stuck, completely stuck.
So dumb.
It's a bad piece of garbage, and it's terrible because I mean, I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to make a really good shooter out of Alien.
No, it should not. And you know, they had a good idea.
Yeah, and this is Gearbox that made this. Well, actually, so Gearbox started making it, and they licensed it out to another company because they were working on Borderlands 2.
Well, good thing they did.
That's probably why it was so bad, because they had to pull their creative team off, and they found some, double A team to do it.
Yeah.
So next is one of probably the most famous terrible movie video game, because it actually caused the video game crash of the 1980s.
And by which we're talking E.T., the extraterrestrial.
Now, fun fact. My mother owned an Atari 2600 when I was growing up. I had an Atari 2600. I had this game.
Oh, you poor soul.
I played it once. One time.
And did you throw it into that landfill?
If I'd known it existed, I would have done it. It's not... I can't even say it's bad. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's just walking around a pixelated screen with a pixelated ET and falling into holes, flying out of the holes. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to this game.
Nothing.
It's not. It's so.
Wasn't it super glitchy and obviously?
I only played it once, and I was probably 7 or maybe even younger.
Yeah, I've heard all sorts of bad things about this game. Though it's super glitchy. It's really ugly, even for the time.
They rushed it out to be.
Yeah, they did it in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
They made this game in 6 weeks.
This movie tanked Atari.
Yeah,
because they made so many, and you referenced the landfill. They threw away so many copies of this game. It filled up. They had to fill a landfill with it. It's insane to think that it almost destroyed video games as we know it until Nintendo came around and saved it.
Yeah. So thank you, Nintendo, for reviving the video game industry since E.T.
Yeah.
Oh,
terrible game. You can take the next one. I have not played it.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, okay, in all fairness, the movie wasn't great. But this game had not a fucking thing to do with the movie.
So it was kind of a later version of that tie-in?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. Obviously in Amazing Spider-Man 2, they were trying so hard to make a movie universe to compete with the MCU. Mm-hmm. So they tried to fucking shoehorn in as much Easter eggs and, other stuff as they could into this movie. And clearly it showed. The movie did terribly, and they eventually ended up holding off on making Spider-Man movies until eventually we got Spider-Man Homecoming.
Into the Marvel MCU, yeah.
So
it was the movie. Now I'll let you finish. Is basically a product placement for Sony products.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Anyway, so this game you wouldn't imagine would be any good. Now, I really like the idea of a free-roaming Spider-Man.
Well, remember, they made the one for the PS2, and it was really good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
But this movie, or this game, was so copy and paste. Like, missions were repetitive. Every person that you saved, you literally saved like 5 minutes ago from a different thing. Like, you'd save one person from, like, an old lady from a burning building. Alright? You'd go down the line, rescue somebody else from a car wreck, and it would be the exact same person! Like, I kid you not, they only had
It was the same sprites?
Yeah, they only had like 3 or 4 different copies of people to actually fill this game with. And it was just so poorly written. The voice acting was so fucking bad. And they tried too hard to also, is another one of those games, they tried to put the Batman Arkham fighting system into this game, and it did not work.
Yeah.
It should have worked with Spider-Man. Because if anybody else can
so
pull off
acrobatic.
if anybody else can pull off those kind of fighting techniques, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
How do you mess this up? Like I said, man, it's just
Sony
copy and
really
paste.
Sucks.
Copy and paste bullshit. Really bad voice acting. And the storyline made no fucking sense. It had nothing to do with the movie. It never should have been made in the first place. Hot garbage.
You ready to move on?
Yes.
The next one is one of, if not the worst video games, period, ever made. Superman 64. So this game was made for the Nintendo 64.
Yes.
So we're already starting out with a game based on Superman with a controller that was made for an alien.
Yeah.
I love the Nintendo 64 dealer, but that's one of the worst controller designs ever.
Ever.
So, Superman 64 is this weird thing where Lex Luthor kidnaps Lois Lane and somebody else. Who else does he kidnap? I can't remember. Is it the other guy?
Yeah.
The one that was killed like in the first 5 minutes of Batman v Superman.
I think, I forget his name.
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's him.
There you
so
go.
to get them back, Superman has to go into this virtual world that Lex Luthor has created.
Oh, God.
And he has to do puzzles and basically, if you know anything about Superman 64, if you've never played it, you know about the rings. The ring scenes where you have to fly through these rings with the terrible animations, and if you mess it up, you gotta go all the way back to the beginning. There's no checkpoints. It's so clunkily made. It's a wreck. It's trash. It's so bad. And at the very end, if you can somehow manage to get through all of this, you have to destroy the virtual world or shut it down or something, and you have to go get like 3 batteries. It's 3 of something. And break them. And they're in a building, and you have no mini-map, and it doesn't even tell you that's what you're supposed to do. So I don't know how anybody ever actually figured it out. I mean, nowadays you can Google, be like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
But
there's
back in the day when there was no Google.
It doesn't tell you how to... Somebody probably sat all night just trying everything they possibly could think of until they finally figured out, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
This game is one of the worst. It doesn't... Even for a 64 game, like Mario Kart... Super Mario 64, Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie, they look nice for being those older games. This looks bad. It's based on the Superman cartoon, so we're a little off script because we're talking about movies.
Yeah, if we wanted to stick with the theme, we would have done Superman Returns, which is an equally bad game, but this one's way worse, so it deserves
It's equally bad, but way worse? You sure about that?
It's way worse.
It's way worse, okay. So I'm done on that one. Go ahead. I've never played this next one.
Rambo the video game.
It sounds like it should be good.
It should have been good, but they completely missed... I guess the people that made this have never seen Rambo, the movie?
Well, that's a good way to start.
Because this is pretty much one of those games that should have been in an arcade.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those rail play games, you know, where you shoot a bunch of people... And then it moves on to the next one. Or it gives you a certain amount of time to shoot people, and then it moves on.
So that's how the gameplay is?
Yeah.
In a console video game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on Rambo.
Yeah, we're doing really well so far.
No, we're not.
This is a good idea.
This game was complete horseshit. You never, literally, even the dialogue and story are just copied and pasted out of the actual movie. They don't even get actual people to act in this. Literally, that's all they do, is they take lines from the movie and put it in there.
Well, they save some money.
Whoever thought that a rail system Rambo would have been good. And if you're going to do that, fine, whatever. Make it for the arcade.
Yeah.
So at least we know what we're getting into.
Yeah, now
and for 2, give us some new dialogue.
Yeah.
Give us a
story. This was something they were trying to rush out. Did this come out around the same time as one of the movies?
I honestly have no idea.
So it must have. If they rushed it out that quickly, they were trying to capitalize.
And, like, it was clunky and really ugly looking. Sylvester Stallone looked even more blocky than he actually is.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this was just a bad game, man. Bad game. But that's pretty much all I have to say about that one. So, moving on to the next one. Friday the 13th, the video
This
game.
is another one I have not played. You've talked about it. That's the extent of my knowledge on it. So
now,
go ahead.
This game just came out, what was it, last year?
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter game.
It was a Kickstarter game, so we honestly I didn't expect much, okay? And honestly, a Friday the 13th game where you're actually going as Jason Voorhees and trying to kill all the different people in Camp Crystal Lake sounds like a fun game. I mean, granted, it sounds an awful lot like Evolve, but at least this way it's a little more entertaining. You get some cool different kills and stuff like that.
It does sound really cool. Can you hurt Jason Voorhees, or is it more of a getting away?
Well, a little bit of both. You can hurt him, but mostly it's just running away.
It's kind of Evolved, but flipped the other way.
Yeah. And my biggest bitch about this game, obviously it was a Kickstarter. It was so buggy. Like, most of the time, you couldn't find a lobby. If you tried to find a lobby, you were sitting and waiting for at least a half an hour to get into the fucking game.
Yeah.
And for 2, it was glitch city, dude. Like, bugs out the ass. Most of the time, if Jason was going to go, hack at you, he would just freeze and then jump to, like, over there, and you completely missed the person. And then a lot of the times, that was even if you were lucky, you got to that far, because most of the time it would have, like, a game crash in the middle of a fucking loading screen. It was super buggy. I'll still give this game a chance when they clean up, down the line when they clean it up a little more. It might actually be fun, but for right now, super buggy, super ugly. Gotta fix it, man. Gotta fix it.
Alright, number 9. This is a game that you owned on your PlayStation 2 back in the day. Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, what the fuck was I thinking of that one, huh?
It's an interesting game. You basically are playing, like, beefed up Gumby.
It really was, too. This was pretty much Gumby on steroids, and for anybody that has watched the actual movie...
I'm sorry, I before we keep moving, it's actually just called Hulk. It's not The Incredible Hulk was a later game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know which one I'm talking about, because you did have it, and it was...
This was the one with Eric Bana as Bruce Banner. The very first one.
Yes, yeah. The one with the weird comic slides.
Yeah, it had weird comic slides, and it made no fucking sense. And the Hulk dogs, and...
Who made that? Who made that movie?
I don't know. It was his first actual, like, comic book movie, though. And you could tell he never actually read the comic at all, because his idea of a comic book movie... Oh, let's just throw some comics or some fucking comic panels in there as transitions.
Ang Lee.
Ang Lee.
There you go.
But yeah, terrible. Fucking the stupidest movie ever. Like you said, it was pretty much Gumby on steroids, because every time they shot this guy in the movie, he pretty much looked like rubber.
And the game looked no better.
No, the game looked no fucking better.
No.
It was really clunky. It made no fucking sense. And then they had these puzzles that were just impossible. Impossible. Like, how do they expect people to figure that shit out? It took, like, there was this one puzzle where I was trying to break into some kind of, like, a government facility base or whatever. A military base, that's the one I was looking for. And you had to try to sneak in stealthily so nobody could see you.
You're the Hulk!
Exactly. Why the fuck would you be sneaking around as Eric Bana trying to figure this shit out? Oh, and then not to mention, there's this other mission, too, where you're actually the Hulk, and you have to sneak around.
There's 2 missions like that.
The first one that I was talking about was...
Oh, you're not the Hulk.
You're actually Bruce Banner trying to sneak into a military base.
The second one, you are the Hulk.
The Hulk.
Oh, okay. See, I barely remember. I just remember watching it once.
But this game, especially when you're the Hulk trying to sneak around, it is just so fucking cartoony. It should not have happened. Because it was, like, the Hulk actually put a truck over him. And And he was Flintstone walking around with this truck on him. How the hell is that going to fool anybody? For one, you don't hear the engine. For two, it's the fucking Hulk's feet sticking out.
Fred, you really let your feet go.
Stupid as all hell movie. Should not have ever been a video game. Moving on.
Alright, number 10, and the last one on our list is Avatar. Have you played this game?
No.
I have not either.
But just the fact that they fucking made a game about this.
They made a game. Alright, listen. The list is over. And I need your ear. Because this movie pisses me off. I hate this movie so fucking much for a plethora of reasons. But the biggest one is those goddamn aliens. Mm-hmm. And the fact that in this movie, the people, the human beings, the Homo sapiens, which are us, are the motherfucking bad guys.
Why?
Because they are at this planet, this primitive-ass fucking planet, because we are out of resources on Earth, and we need resources. And we're there to take the resources, but because we find another semi-intelligent species, which I contend, if you're not human, you should not, you can get away with calling them non-intelligent. I mean, we're the baseline. So they're the bad guys because they want to pillage and plunder and take the natural resources from these aliens. Basically, it's Pocahontas with aliens. Mm-hmm. So it's trying to tell this moral story about not colonizing or not taking things that aren't yours. That's fucking bullshit. And this isn't people against people. You might have an argument saying, oh, don't go to another person's country and take their shit. These aren't people. Our rules do not apply to them.
Right.
I fucking hate this shit. Because by the end, the humans all lose. It's Return of the Jedi all over again to a primitive-ass species. They should not have lost because they got motherfucking mechs and helicopters, like futuristic helicopters and guns and bombs and all that kind of shit. There's no way they should have lost. Not a fucking chance in hell.
And especially, too, the Avatar people are just shooting bows and shit.
And they fuck their horses.
Yeah.
Any movie where the people are made to be the villains against an extraterrestrial species pisses me the fuck off because these are stories about humans. Humans are the good guys. We are always the good guys. Our laws and rules do not apply to another species. They just don't. I can't even get the words out. It's just like the Empire. There's nothing wrong with the Empire enslaving Wookiees. They're fucking giant teddy bears that are really annoying in their home lives.
As we could tell by the holiday special. Anyways, I really hate James Cameron, period.
Yeah, James Cameron is a fucking batshit insane Aquaman, basically.
How the hell this guy keeps getting jobs as a director, I have no fucking clue. Every single movie that he makes is pretty much like that.
He made T2. And that was the only good movie of his, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, he made Aliens. But all of his good movies are off the backs of other people's good movies.
He's never made an original movie in his fucking life. And every movie that he does make, pretty much, on his own, is garbage.
Especially recently.
Why do they keep giving him jobs? There should be a rule in Hollywood. What have you done for me lately? You know?
Oh, I guess he directed both the first and second Terminator, so he did one thing. That was all Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're not going to give you any motherfucking credit, James Cameron. That was Schwarzenegger all the way.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself, James Cameron. Anybody else could have done that, especially if they had Arnie with them.
Arnie at the peak and in a movie where he didn't have to say many lines.
Yes. That's key. Any director could have done that. Especially way fucking better than James Cameron, because James Cameron is a fucking idiot and a moron, and I hate him.
Just get back in your little submarine and hang out in the bottom of the ocean where nobody can fucking see you, please.
Or go live on Avatar Planet.
Yeah, go fuck your horse.
Yeah, you seem to like that an awful lot.
We done?
I think so.
We're done. Got me worked up. I was all good through all those other terrible pieces of shit, but you had to put Avatar on there. You had to put Avatar on there.
It makes for good content.
I hate Avatar. I hate the fact that it's the #1 grossing movie of all time, but it has no cultural impact whatsoever.
Yeah, does anybody even remember what actually happened?
The only reason whenever anybody talks about Avatar, they say what I said. It's Pocahontas with aliens.
Yeah,
That's how you remember is Pocahontas with aliens.
Yeah, pretty much the only reason why anybody went to that movie is it looked pretty.
It was crazy.
And even still now, it doesn't even fucking hold up.
It was only because of the 3D. That's why it made so much money. Everybody went and saw it in 3D, so the ticket prices were higher than people going,
Anyways.
Alright, that does it for this week's episode. Sorry about the fit of anger that I flew into there. If only you could have seen my face.
Yeah, he was quite animated during all of that.
So, please, like, share, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that happy good
Pretty much
stuff.
anywhere that you can find podcasts.
Yeah, we're on iTunes, Spreaker, Google Play, Iheart Radio. Our podcast is up every Sunday on all of those, and YouTube is the video version. We have the Microphone Joe Shit Show, which is on Tuesdays, where we watch a terrible movie. This week it is going to be the Super Mario Brothers.
Sticking with our
theme. And then Wednesdays are our surprise show.
Yes.
So basically that's self-explanatory. It's a surprise. You have no idea what's coming at the time.
Most of the time we don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know until we sit down to do it. So, with that being said, I am CJC.
And I am No Rev.
And this has been the Microphone Joes, and we will see you next time.
Stay average, folks.